All right, this is it. Hell or high water, there's going to be a running engine by the end of this episode in my boat. And I am so excited to finally, after all these years, have a boat that is able to propel itself around. It's taken way too long, but here we go. Let's get it done. If this is the first time you're tuning in, my name is Simon. I'm fixing up this $1 boat to sail around the world. We had a seized engine, and we yanked it out. And instead of rebuilding it, we decided, hey, you know what? She needs a new engine. And instead of just buying one, we built a Franken motor. And this episode, we're finally going to get it running.
Just down a little bit further.
So first things first, the damper plate.
Straight to the bilge. All right, well, we got to get the flywheel on there. It's a good thing it's only extremely heavy. And this is a lot harder now that I'm in the boat, I gotta say. And all of this has to stay because there's no mounts on the back of the engine yet. This is fun. All right, I gotta go find an Allen key. I gotta figure out something else.
This funny little contraption is what smooths out a lot of the vibration from all of those 6 pistons firing at different times and transmits a nice, smooth torque curve to my transmission. We gotta get it in and we gotta put a flywheel on it. Now the damper plate's in, I can drop the transmission into the engine room, which means lifting it up from the boom. This is only the second time I'm using the boom to actually do some lifting, and there's plenty of modifications I want to do to this thing, but for now, you know what? It works pretty good. All right, now I need to move the engine forward and get at everything behind it because once the transmission goes on, it's going to be really crowded back there, so I need to cut off the coupler. This is the coupler. It's meant to help with deflection, vibration, a couple of extra little dampers in there. It's basically just a piece of plastic with some bolts in it, and it absorbs a little bit. But, you know, best not to stress it. Yep, it did not come quietly. But once that's done, I can drop the transmission on and get all of the heat exchangers and the oil cooler and all of that stuff bolted back on as well. The last coolant hose has finally shown up, that 1.5-inch silicone hose I was waiting forever for. So we're gonna bolt that on.
Oh, you fucking main chef knife in the bilge. That's a new low. That's a new low.
There's 2 sections, one that's bolted onto the water pump, and then the last one that's bolted onto the heat exchanger and the thermostat. And that really completes the look of the engine. It looks so much better with that silicone hose running down the top. Another crucial part of the engine install is raw water cooling. Not only does this give me the raw water and a nice place to check for debris, but it also gives me the opportunity to delete a few more through hulls, and that's a big goal with this boat. I think we had, what was it, 18 through hulls or something, or 14. There's a lot of through hulls in this boat, and they all need replacing. I'm really keen to try and get rid of a few because each one is going to cost me like $400, $500, $600 to replace, and if I've got to do 18 of them, well, I won't be able to afford to do that anytime soon. In order to find out where the water line is so I can put my sea strainer in the right spot, I need to hook the hose to my through hull for my engine, and I can just open it, and it should, oh, there we go, we got water. So now I just keep raising the hose until it stops leaking. And right here, and because it's a hose, I can kind of like move it around. Right here is my water line. Now I know exactly where my water line is. When I go to the back of the engine, I can put an anti-siphon loop above the water line, ensuring that I don't accidentally create a loop that sucks seawater down into my engine and causes me problems, which is what I had with the previous engine. So we're gonna plan this right from the gate so it's gonna work properly. Just don't forget to close your through hull. And so what I wanna do is set this up that it's just below the water, or just above the water line. And that way I can remove this cap and pull debris out while still having the through hull kind of open. There we go, we've got the sea strainer open. Okay, so you gotta take the lid off really to know. All right, sea strainer's out. My ideal location, let's see if I can get a screw in this before I drop it It's not likely. The bilge is right there. It loves it. It loves it. Okay, so fits here, but this doesn't. Which is good because this is giving me a ton of trouble, so I have to move it around anyway. I only have one last thing I want to modify on the cooling well, a couple things. Another thing I got to do is tap this heat exchanger into the cooling system. And what this allows me to do is to pull heat energy from my engine. Oh, this is the wrong one. Where's this supposed to go? To heat the boat in the wintertime through the hydronic loop, but also right here we have the water loop, so I can actually use the engine as a hot water heater as well. Wow, I really messed this up. How many of these do I have? Did I buy the wrong one? Oh, yeah, I definitely bought the wrong one. I don't need this one. That was a mistake. Well, another day in Nanaimo, picked up the fitting I need, and also I picked up some sensors to put onto the engine. So I can't put PTFE tape on this because I need it to ground to the engine and get a proper reading on that. So we just screw this straight into the block. So there's actually two sets of sensors that are going on this engine. One that actually gives me a readout and the other one that acts as an alarm. All right, now the engine is relatively complete. I can start doing my alignment.
There it goes. Straight to the bilge. Does it always go right into this hole? Yeah, it did.
Now this is tedious. I've got basically feeler gauge sitting on the prop coupler, and I'm just aligning the engine up and down and up and down and up and down, side to side, until I get the spacing even on all 4 bolts. That's the idea. Once I have all 4 bolts sitting at exactly 5 thou, then I am happy. I can bolt everything down and sit at a nice comfortable place. But that's the idea. Hopefully, once the engine fires, there's no vibration and my alignment was done properly.
Feeler gauge, bolts. We're just looking at the spacing, so I've got it bolted tight. This is the coupler, bolted tight to the back of the transmission, and then we've got the bolts through, but they still have to be cut down to size to fit in here just right. And we're just checking the spacing is uniform across all 4 bolts, and I pretty much got it now. We're sitting at a uniform 3 thou. Pretty good. Pretty happy with that. And yeah, 2 come-alongs, one at the front of the engine, one in the back, and just ratcheting it up and down and up and down and prying it left to right, left to right. Finally got it sitting in just the right spot after adjusting these engine mounts about 300 times. Looks good. All right, let's bolt it in, and then we can move on to the next thing.
All right, now that the hoses are all clipped up, we're gonna try to fit these belts. We're running into some good news and some bad news. The good news is that the Volvo alternator actually fits this with only minor modifications. So I'm able to run this, I think it's a Baldor alternator off of this setup. Which is great. I think that one's like a 100 amp alternator, should be fine. The bad news is this is the fuel pump timing case cover, and it's the one off of the generator. It's a bit too big because it has this notch down here for some sort of mounting point, and now my raw water belt just barely touches it, and it's just enough to cause an issue. Neither of these Nissan engines took the RPM timing off of the alternator. Both of them took it off of different places. Marine engine had something that bolted straight to this timing case. So now that we're going to swap this, we're going to have that new sensor, or the old sensor, right there for the RPMs, and then that means that that will work with the RPM gauge that's already in my marine instrument cluster. So that's kind of an upside, but the downside is it will be ugly until I paint it. Okay, there's a problem here. This timing case still leaves a 1/4 inch gap between the two. So I think that the pulley or the timing gear here for the generator is, wait, no, this is the timing gear from the marine engine. So that is all fitting. That's the timing gear bolt at the end, which is meant to interface with this. So yeah, that's not good. So I have to switch that bolt back, switch this case back, but this fitting here does line up with this fitting. They're the same. So I can actually bolt my timing or my RPM gauge onto that, put this back on, and then I'm just going to grind. Oh geez, I don't even know if this is gonna, can I twist this? Okay, let's see if, I don't know what I'm doing. Guys, I don't know what I'm doing. Now we can go and grind off the bottom, and it's a much simpler solution. So that's the way we're gonna go. All right, we've got engine mounted, we got the plumbing, we got the fuel lines, we got the belts, alternator, water pump, all connected. You got the sea strainer on. So we have the main power connections here, but what we don't have are any instruments wired up and any control panel whatsoever. So let's go over that. Okay, so as you remember, I actually have two engines. I have a generator control panel here, and I have a marine engine control panel here. We're going to look over all of these wires. A lot of these are not waterproof and not tinned, so we're going to definitely make a new array here, but these colors are important because some of the instruments down there have corresponding colors, but it's not ABYC, so we'll be changing the colors, but we need to know what goes where. And everything is numbered, but I don't have any kind of literature for this, so it's not really going to do me much good. The electrical went pretty smoothly, honestly. This is all stuff I've done a million times before, but something I've not done before is build a diesel fuel system. I've not really worked with diesel engines all that much, so this is new for me, and I need to prime the whole damn thing, and there's a lot of tubes, so making sure that I don't have a single leak where air can get into the system, it's going to be tricky. The fuel comes up from my tank here. I have parallel Raycor filters so that I can hot swap between the two. And then, so right now it's going through here, in through here, and then I have fuel sender selectors. So this is the engine, this is the generator, and this is the heater, big, medium, small. Then I have a bypass valve here that I can shut off. And then this is the return for the engine, the return for the generator, which has to be capped off now because I have a different generator, or will be eventually connected to the other generator. Anyway, I haven't gone there yet. And then I have a normal return, or select this pump, and that lets me pull diesel through this or through any of my other full systems. So you can see it's just starting to grab diesel now. And of course I'm finding out all of the bits that weren't totally tight, so we're finding little spots here and there with air bubbles and fuel coming out, so lots of stuff to tighten. Come on, pump, you got this, you can do it. This is the cardinal sin of the previous engine, and it was a problem the previous owner had with it. There was no anti-siphon loop. And, oh, there's the tube up there. All right. So the idea is that after it goes through the heat exchanger, the water is pumped up above the water line where there is a pressure-sensitive vent. And then once it reaches that, it comes down, goes to the mixing elbow, keeps going. When the pumping stops, it the water wants to fall, and the vacuum that it creates on this valve opens this valve up and lets air in here, and that breaks the siphon. Now you have to make sure that you install this after the raw water pump. It has to be after the raw water pump somewhere, and the ideal location usually is between the mixing elbow and the heat exchanger. And it is a good idea to get it at least 18 inches above the water line so that the pressure on this valve is enough to open it. There, welcome to my TED Talk. I'm going to continue mounting this. This heat exchanger also has dual outlets, 1 3/4 and 1 1-inch. But in my case, since I have a mixing elbow with dual inlets, I'm just going to pipe both to there, and then hopefully that doesn't come and bite me in the butt in the long run. But we may end up changing that down the road. We'll see how it goes. All right, here comes the worst job, the one I've been dreading the most this entire episode, and that's getting the stupid exhaust pipes back onto this thing. So I'm going to try and hedge my bets. I got soap in there. I got the heat air on it. I'll lube it all up. Wish me luck. Do you want to go into the bathroom and then help me wrestle this tube from the other side? You can get this, and then whatever it's caught on up there, drop that down. That through hull, that's very easy to stand on. I do not vouch for its strength whatsoever. Okay, let me just see if I can get a pry bar on your end to help leverage that up into place. I mean, it's kind of budging. I think maybe like if I get some ratchets from my car, like ratchet straps for the
Next up, we're plumbing this thing for fuel, just something to connect
exhaust
to
elbow
our
here,
fuel
and then crank on it that way, and it'll pull it
bulkhead.
straight up. I think that's pretty good. It's probably more leverage than we can put.
So much work got done here that didn't get filmed, but we had to end up throwing out all of the old tubing.
There's other ratchet straps, I think, in the kitchen there. Can you bring me one in the bathroom, please?
The short section was too short, the long section was chafed through. We had just a ton of work to do, and it was all routed in the wrong places, and that can be...
I'm running out of, like, thickness, I think, right here. I can't do it much further, Captain.
just so much work to get it routed in the right places.
Oh yeah, that's got a little tension on it. Just in like the week I've had steering, I've rubbed a hole through that exhaust.
That sucks.
That really sucks. This tube is $700.
That also sucks.
This very sucks. Very sucks very much. In hindsight, it would have been better to buy 3-inch stainless pipe and weld a stainless exhaust for the engine.
This is 3.5-inch A1 fill hose. It's extremely heavy. It's extremely thick. They use this also to fill like fuel barges and giant truck stuff and giant tugboat things. I think that the manufacturer probably saves a ton of money just making one type of hose for all these different applications. But the side effect is I'm an extremely inflexible pipe with like 1/2-inch thick walls, and I'm just struggling to shove it into very, very tight crevices of my boat. This took all damn day.
Okay, so now we take out the spacer and hopefully it pops in. There we go. That's just about it. It's funny, now it don't fit so good, is it? That's just about it. Oh, ow. Yeah. That's not a terrible idea.
Yeah. Coat the entire thing.
Just fucking slip and
Got
slide
some
them.
chicken grease. Got some butter.
Okay, I've got it on 1 inch. And I'm going to send it with this hose clamp and see if it sits any better.
And then I'm going to take this crimper off, and I'm going to bang it around and see if it flies off or not. And if if it doesn't fly off and everything sits all right, I'm going to call it done. There's an impact there, and there's a 13mm socket next to it, I think. Hopefully. God, I hope.
The good news is we know that hose doesn't even want to move.
Yeah. And it's not up against anything that rotates at high RPM.
Prop shaft tube, though, not the actual prop shaft.
Oh.
It's also stainless, so it doesn't spin.
Ryan, you're giving me misinformation.
Don't worry, I believed that as well when I first saw it. I was like, what the fuck is the exhaust tube next to the prop shaft? And then there's a thing on full keel boats, it's kind of weird, where the prop shaft runs through a cutlass bearing, like at the hull where the shaft goes through the hull. And then there's like a tube inside the boat that's just like a watertight tube that's open to ocean, all the way up to some accessible part. And then there's a cutlass or stuffing box there. And so that like 6 feet of prop shaft that's inside my boat is actually that's ocean water inside of a tube with a stainless prop shaft spinning in it. There's like a 1/4 inch of salt water around it all the time, stainless on stainless, which is great because it means that there's just so much electrolysis or whatever, ocean stuff. Mechanic.
I moved a little bit.
It's like a very bizarre hernia I just gave myself. Yeah, I got it. And all the way down to the bilge. That's a miracle.
Back pain, no problem.
It's not great because it's down in a place that's really hard to get to. There we go. There. That's better. Scalpel. Here's your new bracelet. You excited? Extension cord right there. It'd be great actually if you could knock your fitting loose as I fight it on. Maybe it'll slide more onto your way. Because I'm not a little on, I'm a moron. Exhaust that way. There we go. There you go. Let me pull it backwards.
You're just looking for somewhere to get leverage on?
Mm-hmm. Come along.
Let's see what we're working with.
Well, that was exhausting. Okay, let's fire this engine up.
Again. Some more. Again. Oh, shite. Stop. We have a major oil leak. Yeah, I kind of thought this would happen. There's an O-ring in here, but I don't think the metal phasing to phasing is that good because it's too different. It's like it's the automotive. This is like the marine oil cooler. The coupler down here is from the generator. They're just not compatible. Now it's pissing oil all over the place.
I'm curious, when you're bleeding it, like were you working your way up, like cylinder 6, cylinder 5?
I opened all cylinders and then I'm wait, like I see bubbles coming out of this one, and then it's like usually it should start here at the closest one and work its way out. Right. But like it doesn't always, so.
Yeah, well, so like all of that fuel hose needs to be filled, the pump needs to be filled.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I've been
I've been priming that.
Right.
Like all of yesterday I was pumping the shit out of this and pumping these all full. Like this one was just my indicator one, so I'd switched to it to make sure the thing was working, but
There we go. There you go. There's a crack right there. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm going to try and bolt this back down. We're going to make an adapter plate to space this out, but I also need to weld and fix this because that's definitely leaking.
So not only do I have the equipment to fix this and also the experience to do so, but now I'm kind of getting into a zen about it. You know, little repairs like this, they're fiddly, but I'm kind of starting to enjoy them, and I'm getting a lot more relaxed about it. Now, bleeding the system is agonizing because I'm not only bleeding the injectors, which is one little job, I'm also bleeding the entire fuel system. And there is more than likely still an air leak somewhere in this system. I have not tracked it down, but I am trying to get every ounce of air out of these. Now, the injectors are fully mechanical, so they're not going to work at all if there's any air in those lines whatsoever. So I really need to make sure I get this right. So this just takes a lot of time.
see if it's done. Are you gonna fire cylinder 1?
No water yet.
Finally, she's firing on all pistons. She's still surging, she's still wallowing, but I have another problem. She's not pumping any water. Turns out, of course, I've got the raw water pump upside down. And the whole thing spins in the same direction no matter which way you orient it, but you need the housing at the back to be turned in the right direction so that it squeezes out one side and pumps out the other. I can't really explain it any simpler than that.
Alright, as you can tell from the splash zone back here, the good news is that fixed the impeller problem. The bad news is this heat exchanger does not hold much water. I mean, it's currently spraying water all over the place. This gasket here is not doing me any good. And that's because the face right here of this heat exchanger is incredibly warped. And the old one had matching warps and all the gasket material. Might have been just better off leaving the old one where it was. Anyway, Maybe I'll double gasket it, you know? Maybe that's the trick. Who knows? Alright, I've been messing with it. We got 2 gaskets on this side, and then as soon as I got that side sealed up, then this side started leaking as well. Although it's leaking less now. I've tightened it up a little bit, but I'll probably have to pull that off and sand it as well. We got a leak in this hose. Half of these bolts were not quite tight enough, so I had leak there. The overflow valve here, I thought this was plugged up. Apparently once you get it kind of fired up, it stops being plugged up. The ATF is overflowing out of the back, out of the transmission, but the transmission is working. And I think the ATF was just slightly overfilled. I'm trying to figure out where it's leaking from. It's also possible that I just failed at my rebuild of the transmission and there's a leak somewhere in there. Anyway, let's see if it fires up. Well, the good news is I finally have water coming out the back. There you go, that's working. Alright, reverse works. There's so many kinks to work out. See that loud noise, that's the intake. I need to put an intake kind of snorkel and filter on it. There's still an exhaust leak somewhere. I can smell it. And then, yeah, it's pissing water out of several different facets. So I gotta go get parts, lots of parts. But I have a running engine in my boat. So a little bit more work and I might even be able to take it out for a spin.
Seconds after that last clip, the damn boat got stuck in forward and I nearly hit my neighbor because it was a really slack tide and I could swing the mooring around pretty far. So we got to go fix a broken coupler for my shift linkage.
Alright, first run. Let's do this. Hard to starboard.
It turns on a dime. Honey, don't fall over on the first time. Move in the boat, okay?
There's a lot of smoke inside the boat. Let's see. Port side turn. That's not good. That's full throttle and it's like idle. Does not feel good. I don't know what good's supposed to feel like, but this ain't it. And this thing does not turn on a dime. Wow, it's turning, I guess.
It's turning.
Eventually, you gotta really give yourself a lot of running space. Holy shit. That's full throttle. I'm below idle now. This is not good.
Do you want to look?
Yeah. Can you try and steer us back too? Oh yeah. A lot of ATF in the bilge. Die at any second, I'll start drifting into one of them.
shortest distance, but
Yeah, that's also a good call, but I'm not, I can tow at any time. I just need space to set up a tow line, you know?
yeah.
Might as well go set that up,
and
actually.
a total line.
Yeah,
Since we left all our lines on the line.
that's too short. There we go. That sucks. Here it goes. Come on, baby. Just a few more feet and get you to the back to that ball. Come on. There must be air in the fuel system, and the ATF is spewing all over the damn place. So the transmission's gonna give out on us any second now. We just need to get her to the mooring ball. We've only got about 50 feet to go. Come on. Come on, girl. You can do this. I can go back. Hard over to starboard. Got it? Thanks, honey. The engine got the memory and died as soon as we got here.
Looks like it's meant to be, which can we do here?
Yeah, I'm gonna release.
Something?
Oh, there we go.
Just undo my.
All right, we're locked off.
Very, very tight.
See what kind of fire we got. Well, it smells like hot engine in here. Okay. Don't worry about it, love. We're tied off.
I know we're tied off. I was just thinking I could get the other side of the bridle if it.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing me on a boat ride.
I'm not sure. The other camera keeps dying because everything dies today. We definitely have an ATF leak. We definitely have some leaky fuel lines somewhere, and we have a GoPro that's just turned itself on the kitchen table. That's great.
That's fun.
There's no one around. Just turns itself on. Jesus. Okay. Well, the engine's not on fire. Didn't overheat, and it is not generating any electricity. As you can see, it's puking quite a lot of ATF into the bilge. So definitely the transmission's leaking again from somewhere else other than the first place and the second place I found. There's a third place now. Throttle linkage is not working right, and then fuel lines are leaking air somewhere. So I gotta go track that down somehow. But that'll be next episode. Enough for me. We're gonna call that a success. We left the mooring ball. We drove around the bay. We went back to the mooring ball. We made it, if only just. And it's still a success. See you guys next week.